Hi, my name is Tony. I'm not a professional YouTuber or anything, but I am a concerned citizen. And as I was thinking about the election coming up next week, I decided I wanted to just jot a few thoughts down and share them with you in hopes that they might be helpful. There's this fun trivia game with a funny name. It's called Fact or Crap. I used to play it with my wife and mother-in-law, but when it comes to the election, it's not so funny because there's a lot of crap flying around being presented as fact, and it needs to stop. Folks are getting themselves worked up over things that aren't even true and making very consequential choices based on lies. So for those of us with short attention spans, but who still want the truth, let's just rapid fire through some of this so we can actually vote based on fact instead of crap. All right, let's start with Project 25. Boy, talk about crap. The Heritage Foundation crafted this set of guidelines for Trump to follow should he be elected. However, they're too conservative for Trump and he won't be working with Project 25. And that's because Trump is not a conservative. He's a right-of-center capitalist who loves his country, but nothing more. So knock it off with Project 25. Trump wants nothing to do with it, and he never did, unfortunately. Next, Trump is Hitler. Total crap. He governed for 4 years. What did he do that was so Hitler-esque? What policy did he enact that in any way was designed to exterminate a certain class of human beings? He certainly didn't hate the Jews, as we saw by the embassy being moved back to Jerusalem. So where is this evil dictator you've been told to fear? He doesn't exist. The good people on both sides scam has been debunked a million times, as has the bloodbath and dictator on my first day in office and losers comments. As for the enemies within comment, he's totally right. We have plenty of people in government right now actively working to undermine the values laid out in our Constitution, and they need to be stopped by upholding those values. So stop with the Hitler nonsense. People are tired of it, and they know it's crap. Next, the future of women's health care is at stake. More crap. And of everything, this might be the biggest and most annoying example of crap. For anyone who's been paying attention, Trump is pro-choice and always has been, a la Bill Clinton in the 1990s. Sadly, he agrees with the safe, legal, and rare philosophy. But he's a transactional guy, so he made a deal with America. Elect me, and I'll put the issue of baby murder into the hands of the state instead of the federal government. Well, he made good on his word. And now he doesn't want to discuss it, except to say that he thinks, like most Americans, that we shouldn't be slaughtering kids up until the time of birth. There is a line. And he certainly doesn't think babies who survive should be left to die. That's his stance. So stop with all this nonsense of women's freedoms being at stake. 99% of them can go kill their offspring in whatever state they're in right now. Sadly, Trump doesn't care. Our democracy is in danger. More crap. Most of this stems from the January 6th stuff. Okay, let's bottom line this. When Trump got elected in 2016, Hillary said the election was stolen. When Stacey Abrams lost, she refused to accept the results. Likewise, when Trump lost in 2020, many questioned those results and presented quite a laundry list of reasons to suggest that COVID, ballot harvesting, and the selective censoring of media so as to skew all info in favor of one candidate over another all served to rig the election in favor of Biden. Many were so convinced of foul play that they decided it was worth exercising their constitutional right to protest and question the legitimacy of how the election was handled. Trump agreed, and so he gave a speech and encouraged them to make their voices heard, but to do so peacefully. However, for various and sundry reasons that frankly deserve their own video, that protest turned into a riot as a group of folks got whipped up into a frenzy and committed vandalism against the Capitol building. The disturbance was quickly quelled, but not before a young woman named Ashley Babbitt was executed. That's right. Regardless of what you've been told by the left and the mainstream media, no cops were murdered or even seriously injured. Just one unarmed woman. And later that same day, business proceeded as planned at the Capitol. To compare this to 9/11 or Pearl Harbor is to insult people's intelligence and use truly terrible tragedies as a cynical political ploy to get people to hate Trump and be more accepting of your attempts to brand those who support him as terrorists. This is how you get away with weaponizing the FBI and the DOJ to go after elderly women for praying outside of Planned Parenthood, or arresting a father for holding his local school district accountable for the abuse of his daughter at the hands of a perverted guy in a dress. And then you have the nerve to call decent citizens a threat for objecting to all of this? You're shameless and you're disgusting, and you're the ones causing all the division. You're the ones weaponizing government to punish those who push back. Next, Trump supporters are racists. Thankfully, this crap is finally being exposed and rejected all over the country. People just don't care about skin color. Only leftist lunatics care about it, and the color they hate is white. That is why white farmers and business owners were pushed to the back of the line when it came to government compensation for all the lost revenue due to the COVID fiasco. In the end, they only received a pittance compared to the generous compensation received by people of color. We're told this is called equity, but we all know what it really is: racism. Shame on the left for once again accusing us of the very thing they are guilty of. And finally, Trump wants to ban books. Goodness gracious, talk about complete crap. No, he just agrees with most folks that gay porn is still not appropriate for elementary school and shouldn't be available to minors at the local library. That's literally all this is about. The left is desperate to get books about gay sex into the hands of kids, and Trump opposes that because he's sane. It's the same reason most of this country doesn't want dudes in bikinis shaking their scrotums in the faces of 7-year-olds. If that's your jam, great, then vote Democrat. Ironically, it's the left that's into book banning and censorship. Books that champion this country, books that elevate God and the biblical model for a healthy family, books that question the COVID narrative and so forth, are books that the left is desperately trying to censor as dangerous misinformation while they scream about democracy and freedom. Remember this. When the left cries freedom, all they mean is the freedom to have sex with anyone or anything with no consequences. That is fact, not crap. Speaking of which, let's wrap up with a few facts now that we've dealt with most of the crap. Here's a fact. Folks just want to live together in peace. By and large, no one is out to oppress anybody, except for the fringe crackpots that exist, always have existed, and always will exist. Fact, nobody cares about the color of your skin, and frankly, we're all tired of hearing about it. Fact, generally speaking, kids need a married mom and dad to flourish and grow up well-adjusted. Neither sex is irrelevant or expendable. Fact, anyone who tries to make me pay for the sex change operation of a convicted murderer needs their head examined and belongs nowhere near the presidency. Fact, it's possible for an idiot to also be a woman. And it's okay to not vote for that woman if she's an idiot. And if you're voting for someone simply because they're a woman, you're an idiot. Fact, men don't belong in women's sports or women's locker rooms no matter what they think they are. And everyone knows it. Kick them out. That's called sanity. Fact, we have 2 records of governing to look at. We already know how things will be with Trump, and we know darn well how things will be with Kamala. Don't let someone tell you to ignore that. Fact, the left loves fascism, even as they decry it. They want nothing more than to be in coordination with the media and private businesses in order to force us into their standard of living. electric cars, electric stoves, forced racism in who we can hire, and an abolishing of the First Amendment. So, guys, to sum up, don't let people gaslight you. Trump isn't the boogeyman. He's just a horny billionaire from New York that doesn't want to see this country go down the tubes. The guy likes everybody, and before 2015, everybody seemed to like him too, until he ran as a Republican to stop the left from bringing further chaos and division into the country. They've been after him ever since. Thankfully, folks are starting to see that. The false narrative is cratering as more and more people are seeing Trump for who he actually is. Just watch his recent chat with Joe Rogan. He's just a dude who loves his country and is willing to dodge bullets to try to save it. Meanwhile, folks by the millions are seeing Harris for who she really is. She's a vacuous creation of the left. She can't answer a straight question. She nervously laughs and throws a bunch of words together that don't mean anything, and she keeps peddling the same lies over and over again, hoping people will be too stupid to actually check what she says. At the end of the day, she and her failed cohort have all but destroyed the things that made this country the beacon to the world that it once was. And now she wants to finish the job so that the America that most folks still love and want to pass on to their children can be abolished and replaced with the Marxist utopia the current Democratic Party dreams about. But hey, abortion's for everybody, so it's all good. That's literally what she's running on at this point. Has child sacrifice become so important to the citizens of this country that they're willing to sacrifice their own future for it? I guess we're about to find out. One last fact. Apart from being granted repentance and revival, this country hasn't got a prayer.